Before we talk about a couple of things in terms of clustering, I have to announce a couple of things for you for the class logistics. If you go to the files, first of all, please download it data 3 and 5 while I'm discussing about some class logistics, and that's going to be used for our classroom activities. So please download it 3 and 5. And also, if you go to the lecture resources, I think that I had uploaded one video for you, and then if I click the statistics, it seems like we have 8 students who is not able to complete it for some reason. But please keep that in mind. I'm going to take a look at this statistics to check your attendance. So please make sure that you have to complete it probably this week. And also, I can actually see who is not actually not watching the video, but I don't want to open it right now. And also, if you go to the files, you're going to get project-related things. So I'm going to give you more details later, but please download it, all the files, and then if you need it, just jot down something on the problem or project description. So I will give you more details at the end of this class. How's it going with your assignment 1? The deadline is actually, did they all submit it? Okay. How was it? Was it too difficult or too easy? No comments? Oh, by the way, for Koika student, who is from Ethiopia or? Nobody? Oh, okay, I see. I'm supposed to visit Ethiopia at some point at this week, not this week, this year. We are trying to expand our, how can I say, our project work, not only for focusing on the Uzbek or Myanmar, and also we are targeting on some countries in Africa, and then I think that I'm going to go to Ethiopia. So I was looking for it, yeah. Anyhow, so if you do not have any question on class logistics, let me share my screen. So I believe that we were discussing about k-means algorithm, and that we did some classroom activity together. And I hope that you watched the video clip that is actually describing how to evaluate a classroom model, especially focusing on the partitioning-based algorithms. So what was the limitations of k-means algorithm that we studied before? Pouch, you're my friends. What was the k-means, limitations of k-means? Can you come up with one of them?
So data distribution is like circular.
Right, so he's basically talking about the data shape. If we have somehow, how can I say, like spectral type data or irregular shape or whatever, because inherently k-means is towarding the direction of finding the kind of this way. So if you have something like data, there's a kind of oblong shape, then k-means may not be working well as intended. So that's one of the limitations we practice together in the classroom. What are the other limitations? Okay.
K-means is sensitive to outliers.
Sensitive to outlier, or in other words, it may not be possible to perhaps not finding the outlier based on the principle of the k-means algorithm. So no matter what the point is, even if we specify like k is equal to 3 or 4 and 5, any scalar data points should be involved in or get involved in the type of one of the clusters that we specified it. So you may not be able to properly identify outlier cases or noise data. So that'll be another limitation. We saw that. What else?
It requires to identify the number of k.
Yes, the thing is he's talking about the very first step of k-means algorithm is to specify number of the k. And the question is, how can we come up with a proper k? Even we know there's some background knowledge or information, but that would be really difficult, challenging for us to make a best decision in terms of that. One more.
It is sensitive to initialization.
Exactly. So we are going to initialize somehow centrally pointed, randomly, whatever, but probably, perhaps, different initialization may produce different result. But that's not always happen, but that could be, right? So that would be requiring a lot of computational costs in some cases. In some cases, we do have different result depending on the different initializations. So that's why I summarized it kind of, these are 4 different, there could be more, but I just wanted to highlight these 4 limitations. And I believe that that's why we wanted to introduce one of the very fancy algorithm, which is called DV-scan, right? And what was the 2 hyperparameters in DV-scan algorithm? So what was the key hyperparameters that enables the DV-scan algorithm? 기계학생, you're my friend. Density, okay. Neighbors, okay. Distance, okay. Right, so this is something like EPS, we define it. EP is something like, at least a distance that I'm going to define, hey, who's my neighbor? So if I define my distance, EPS is going to be here, then if you are inside of my distance, then you're going to be my neighbor, for example, right? That's a one hyperparameter that we have to define when you implement a DV-scan algorithm. What else? 유빈 학생. What else? EPS and give me 1 second. He's about to say something. So what do you want to say there? Mean pointed? What do you mean pointed? Minimum number of data points. Exactly, yes. So these are 2 hyperparameters, right? So what we're gonna do today, we wanna practice all together with the classroom activity because we learn about the principle of DV-scan algorithm, and we wanna implement it with using the scikit-learn library, and then try to identify what's the relationship between EPS and mean PTS when you especially implement this algorithm. We can actually practice all together. And these are first objective for today. And second objective for today, I want to give you some pros and again cons perspective. Even though we see that k-means algorithm may not be proper in some cases, but this does not mean that DV-scan always wins the game. Even though DV-scan algorithm is really pretty good, but we have to know what are the pros and cons perspective. So I want to concentrate on providing you what are the limitations of DV-scan algorithm so that you can get better understanding on the properties of this algorithm. So that's my second objective of this class for today. So in order for that, that's why I ask you to download your data set first. And I'm going to share my Python code to implement it, this algorithm. But let's do that with the k-means first, and then we're going to see how DV-scan algorithm is different with the k-means. Let me share my screen here. So first of all, let's use the Python code you used it before for developing your k-means algorithm. And please import a data 3 in your computer, in your local machine. And then we're going to kick off, move on to the other practice. So you can use the code you used it before. You don't have to change it at all, but I will show you what the data 3 looks like. So if I import data 3, then that's going to be looks like in this way. Okay? And what I would like to do it, you to do it is use the k-means algorithm and cluster this data with the k is equal to 2, because it looks like, this is one cluster, right? And this is the other cluster. So you have to get 2 different clusters, and then we're gonna practice with other data set if time is allotted. So please indicate your difficulties by raising your hand, then T and I will be helping you to this kind of classroom activity. All right, guys, let's get back and then talk a little bit more about some discussion, and then we're gonna have all discussion group together. I know that you may need some time to type on it, but sorry for that. I'm not able to give you enough time, but we need to move forward. So, how many clusters did you get with this Python code? One? And that is what you're looking for, or? So we have only one cluster, but looking at the data, it seems like we want to have 2 different clusters, right? So obviously the result is not what I'm looking for. So what things that I need to change it? And why this has happened? So obviously different with the k-means result, but go ahead, sorry.
I'm guessing the distance.
Distance.
It calculates its neighbors a bit wide, so probably.
Right, so one of the hyperparameter that we specify may be something bigger than I expected. So I want to reduce the number, right? So let me change, for example, EPS. I'm guessing 0.5 might be bigger enough. So I want to change the number, right? And Jonathan, what number did you use it? Point? 0.1, right? Okay, let me find, let me see what the result is actually different. And if I run it with the 0.1, if I implement the scanner algorithm, okay, looks like 2, but actually seems weird. All right, this is another cluster, right? So what other options you have? Probably I need to change the minimum sample data point. If I change 2, still I'm not satisfied with that. And if I change 4, for example, I'm still getting stuck with my looker. So because these points are defined as my cluster. So who got the best hyperparameter that perfectly cluster 2 different groups without any noise pointed? Touch? Which number?
EPS 0.3.
0.3. 1. If I run it with the pouches choice, then I'm going to get, there you go. Yes. We have 2 different clusters with this hyperparameter, right? So one of the lessons learned from this activity, we tried and error to make a decision in terms of EPS and mean PTS, right? In other words, it may be quite challenging for us to make a decision in terms of proper EPS and mean PTS, especially when you implement a DV scanner algorithm. So now I'm going to have another discussion with you. This is a more group discussion. Go ahead. Okay, the thing that we were doing trial and error to determine the EPS and mean PTS. Starting with the 0.5, 0.1, I changed a lot. And I also changed the mean PTS as well. So these are two hyperparameters you have to specify that. So in other words, even though deep-scan algorithm may be pretty good for some cases, but it's quite still challenging for you to make a decision which EPS, mean PTS is going to be good for your data set. So that is one of the aspect that we need to take a look at it. So what I wanted to do now, please save this code, and then we're going to use the same code, but I'm going to change the data set. So let me change the data set. For example, I'm going to import now data 5. And how does it look like? It looks like in this way. And going back to your DV-scan practice and try to do different EPS, different mean PTS with your friends. And if you get these 6 different clusters without any noise pointed, if you have an answer, then I'm going to finish my class for today. Six different clusters, 0 noise data pointed. Then I'm going to stop it, and then we can play around it, getting outside it. But if not, you have to be staying a little bit more. Okay? So discuss with your friend, and the reason why this is happen, and also please discuss with your friend what is the limitations of DB-scan algorithm, especially in this data set. Okay? I'm going to give you 5 or 10 minutes to talk with your friends and implement the same code with the data 5, and then we are going to come back later to discuss a little bit more about this activity. I think 2 or 3 will be a great size of the discussion group, so please take a look around it, and then we will be back soon. Hey guys, I told you that we're going to have a group discussion. Let's all discuss all together, because I think that there are a lot of things that we can learn from this activity. Again, I'm so sorry that I cannot give you enough time to discuss, to practice it. But if you have any leftovers in terms of the Python implementation, please do it when you go home. Hey guys, are you guys ready? Or do you need more time? All right. Guys, focus. Okay. All right. So who wants to go home? Who have the 6 clusters? Can you please raise your hand? If you have 6 clusters. Oh, how many? Oh, 3, 4. Okay. 5. Okay. Oh, 6. Oh, 7. Okay. Okay. Now I can let you go to the home if you have noise data point is equal to 0.
The problem is the cluster.
But visualization is wrong.
Sorry?
Noise is 0, but the visualization is wrong.
You have a noise is equal to 0?
Yes.
But visualization is wrong. What do you mean?
Like when you are visualizing, you see that there are noise. This place
Okay.
is not really clusterable.
Okay.
The colors are not.
You have 6 different clusters?
Yes.
Okay, I see. So, did you have time to discuss with your teammate why this happened? Why this is not possible? What's the reason why? Can you guess? Am I talking alone, or are you? 승리 학생, what do you think? Okay.
I think it's because of the distance. So for this one, we want them to be separated, but we also want no outliers. So for that, we have to increase the distance.
Right.
When we increase the distance, they become
Right. That's a very good explanation. So what he's basically talking about it, because we specify kind of EPS or mean PTS as my hyperparameter. So in some cases, I really want to increase it for some reason, but that does not actually replay all those cases. In some cases, I want to decrease this. So one of the key limitations of DB-scan algorithm, this is a very important point. If you have a data, something like in this way, meaning that if you have data with the different densities, then DB-scan algorithm may not be working well. But still, it has advantages compared to the k-means algorithm. So if you have uniformly density data, then you may not have any issue with this implementation. But take a look at this data. If you look at the center, the data looks like very dense, right? But if you look at the left corner on the bottom here, the density may be coarse compared to the other data sets. So that's the reason why you're struggling to define proper EPS or hyperparameters in your implementation. That's why you may not be able to properly cluster this one without noise cases. So that's the first lesson learned that we wanted to know. Any questions? So in summary here, the DB-scan algorithm is designed for detecting cluster of roughly uniform density. In other words, it struggles to handle data set with cluster with a different varying density in your data set. So if you have a data, and then if you realize that your density of data set will be different and for some reason, then probably DB-scan algorithm may not be working as intended. So you need to come up with another algorithm. And that actually beyond the scope of this class, but I can introduce in another class to handle this kind of issue. And also, as we all discuss, determining EPS and BPTS can be challenging in reality. So we need to do some data analysis and a good guess, but the performance is quite sensitive with these two different hyperparameters. So another lesson learned for us, even though we are learning about the k-means algorithm and also DB-scan algorithm, they have a different properties. But the thing that I have to mention it, when you learn about algorithm, when you learn about machine learning algorithm, whatever, you have to know what are the pros and cons perspective, so that when you encounter some data set in your domain, it could be like mechanical, electronic or economics, wherever, you need to define which algorithm will be suitable for dealing with your data set. So in order for that, you have to know what are the pros and cons perspective or standpoint of each algorithm. So throughout this class, I just wanted to give you two different perspectives, partition-based clustering and also density-based clustering. But I'm not saying that which one is going to be a good one compared to the other one. But I'm providing you what are the pros and cons of this algorithm. And when you go to the company or when you go to the graduate school, whatever, you need to do some data analysis. Please keep that in mind. This is kind of pros and cons perspective, and then which algorithm should I come up with to deal with your data set. All right, any questions? Did you get it? Okay. So now we're going to have more fun part with the project description. So today is the last day of providing the clustering related course material. That's why I just wanted to give you one project so that you can practice with what you have learned from this classroom. So this is one of the projects that I wanted to give you for your opportunity. Project description here, basically the objective is to exercise implementing the k-means algorithm from a simple toy problem to a complex real-world problem. So basically the rule of thumb, the Python is recommended, but if you do have any preferred language like C or R, C++, please let us know. We can accommodate your preference, but typically Python is encouraged, recommended for easy learning. So you have to deliver two different things here, a presentation file outlining the storyline nailed down to this project, which is going to be 15 minutes long. And also you have to deliver simulation code your team developed. Basically, this is a team project. So as always, all the deliverables must be joint efforts, meaning that I'm going to give you more, the peer assessment evaluation. This is a more group teamwork. So, but please keep that in mind. One student from your team should submit all the materials instead of other people. So this is a basic project description. And team here, you will work in a team 4 students with the aim of developing teamwork skills, and you are going to be having a presentation to me and TA and other people if needed. So the entire team will receive the same base graded, but as I mentioned before, I'm going to have the peer assessment evaluation for all the team members, and then the reason why, because we want to find the work well all together, contributed equally to this project. And the data set, as I mentioned before, you can download the data from the LMS. We have 2 different data sets. I'm going to give you more details later, but this is, you can download it from the project folder in the LMS system. So please keep that in mind. No data set are used for the task 1, but we're going to use the data set for task 2 and task 3 only. So you don't need a data 1, or you don't need the data for the task 1. Okay? Citation, always very important. If you have any citation from other resources, or including ChatGPT, you have to cite them properly so that we can look into your project presentation and files and Jupyter Notebook or whatever we need to take a look at it. So this is more general information in terms of the project. Before I'm going to specifically explain about each task, any questions so far?
Concerning the peer rating.
Sorry?
Concerning the peer rating.
Peer rating?
Yes, the peer assessments.
Peer assessment, what is that?
You made mention of it.
Yeah. So the question is, so what is our peer evaluation?
Yes. The same thing was written in the previous assignment, but I didn't see anything.
Right, so that's coming up soon. I'm preparing a couple of questions. For example, I'm asking you, hey, what is your contribution on this project? So you have to describe it. And also, second question might be, what do you think that your teammates' contribution on this project? So you have to specify as well. And then I and TA will be looking at all the peer assessment survey results, and then we're going to change the grade if needed a little bit. But if not, the basic rule of thumb is going to get same grade for each team. So that's coming up soon. Usually happen after the submission.
So who is going to be a presenter? Are you going to choose randomly, or
So that's a good question. So who is responsible for presenting the project deliverables? And the short answer, all of them, all team members.
so we all have to participate in?
Yes, exactly. You all have to participate in the presentation. And so sorry that Korean is not allowed. 100% English. Okay, any other question for general this question?
Regarding to the presentation, which means you can share the parts of the presentation. Maybe this one is going to present this, and this one is going to present this.
So no matter what actually the short answer, it doesn't matter. It's your decision, your team's decision. But think about it, this is as a group project, team project. So you can work together, and probably someone may be charging with some developing the code, and someone may be preparing the slide deck. But that's your choice, and then we are going to look at as a team. But again, we're going to have a peer assessment evaluation, and if there's some majority opinions on something, then we have to take a look at it. Okay. Any other questions?
So the submission, we submit only the simulation code and document, but PPT we use it for presentation only.
You only need to submit two different things, a presentation file and your simulation code. You don't submit the you don't have to submit the
There is no
report. There's no report. Do you need a report? No. Okay. Any other questions? All right. Can I move on? All right. We have three different tasks. The first one is a toy example, toy problem. We designed it. You can imagine there are 8 pointed, and you have 3 different centroid pointed, which are predetermined. You have to follow this centroid point as your initialization. And you should include these 3 different questions. For example, how many iterations, and what is your strategy to stop the iterations, and what the clustering result looks like. One thing that you have to keep that in mind, even though we practice in the classroom activity using the K-means library, but in this project, you're not allowed to use the K-means library, but you have to write down your own code from scratch in terms of the K-means algorithm, because you know the principle, you know the concept, we learn about it, so you have to come up with your own K-means algorithm and use them to solve this task 1. Okay? Any questions? So to sum up here, there are points, there are initialization as a constraint, you have to follow them, and then you have to answer 3 different questions, and you need to write down your own code in terms of the K-means algorithm based on what you learned from the class. Task 2, I'm naming an open-ended problem. So assuming that your team is responsible for evenly distributing n sample points onto South Korea territory. And we're gonna specifically using K-means algorithm to answer the question here. So for example, you may need to equally distribute 10 sample pointed across the territory, and your presentation should include 2 different questions. What is your approach to complete this task, and also what does the result look like? So the data that I'm going to share with you, actually it is shared in LMS. This is the data set you need to use it to address the task 2. So for giving more details, so think about it, this is a Korean territory. What you're gonna get as a data is a boundary data set, which is going to be defined with the latitude and longitude. So this is all the data point, boundary data points. This is what you will get from the LMS. And what you need to do, you need to think about it, how to equally distribute it and sample point it over the South Korea territory. For example, if I specify 5, then I'm going to evenly specify probably in this way. I know that notionally it's not evenly distributed, but we're gonna take a look at your presentation with some reasonable approach, how to do it. But you have to use the K-means algorithm to answer this question. That's why this is a more open-ended problem. There may be some other ideas, but your goal is to equally distribute it and sample point it as much as possible. So one of the common mistakes for students, because we provided some territory data, which is defined with the latitude and longitude, which is also scaled data points. Some group might be having a misunderstanding on clustering these boundary data, but that's not what I'm looking for. So, any questions? Okay. The last one is going to be more real-world problem, which is going to be vertical placement. And I believe that I try to provide details in this project description. So please read it very carefully and try to answer 2 different questions here. that has to be included in your presentation. So the first one is going to be specify k is equal to 17, and then please cluster your data set. And the second one, you don't have any k constraint in it. You can feel free to come up with how many k if you wanted to do or address this problem. So more details are included in this project description, but the one thing that I have to tell you here, the data set you need to use it is going to be this one. So this is body per candidates. You have to use it. And for the task 3. So the motivation was, I'm not sure if you know that this is somehow future air mobility, future transportation. If you think about the aircraft, if you think about the airport, there's a runway. And aircraft is usually taking off with somehow some distance, right? But this aircraft is designed for vertical takeoff and landing, like helicopter. And the Korean government is thinking that if we implement this new concept as a new transportation system, then which location is going to be best for this kind of body port? So we want to answer the question with using the K-means algorithm. And we do have some candidate. This is all the candidate information, candidate location information. And you have to specify like 17 or whatever number you need to bring that up. All right, any questions? Because we have 2 or 3 minutes, I think that I need to make a group for you so that you can get some contact information. So if you do not have any questions for Zoom, guys, again, thank you so much for coming. I think that I need to spend 3 minutes for making a group. I will see you guys this Thursday, and also this is going to be individual project for you, for Myanmar and Uzbek students. If you watch this record video, and this is going to be a pass and fail certification. All right, thank you so much for coming. I will see you guys next week. Oh, I said next week. Next. Oh my goodness. All right, we have 12 groups. The first group, Pouch, Leah, Park Jae-ryang. Can you please raise your hand? Okay, Leah is here, Park Jae-ryang, Pouch. 곽주하, 김재희, 전민우, 정지원. Okay. And 권민혁, 김예은, 전선교, 피에렛. Okay. Why you guys are always sticking together? That's weird. 김성원, 김창주, 벤자민, 황은지. Okay. 김성원, oh, sorry. This guy is actually dropped the class, so you guys have 3. 황은지, 벤자민, okay. 김지호, 마애, 손예원, 전정은. Okay. 강민준, 김규현, 임마누엘, 필리포. Okay. 김수빈, 시보닐, 온라이쿤레, 프로드왈. 김수빈, congratulations. 김예준, 김주희, 김현수, 유하진. 여기. 네. 김진영, 아미두, 조셉, 최승리. 여기. 네. 로널드, 박하린, 정이삭, 함유빈. 압둘라히, 양수민, 윤예림, 티소프. 이쪽. 사이먼, 아이린, 양찬, 이혜정. Okay. All right, we're on time, 11:15. So this is your team for your project, and then good luck on your project. And please let us know if you have any question. We will be here to support you. All right, great day. I will see you guys this Thursday.